Hi, guys. It's Monday. It's January 25th. Welcome to a new week. This week, we are going to be exploring some different books that are several different genres. And when I say genre, it refers to the style of the writing. We know that books are usually divided into two categories, fiction and nonfiction. However, there's a lot more to genre than just those two main divisions. We can talk about books that are realistic fiction or fantasy or fables, fairy tales, biographies, mysteries, plays, and the list goes on. And so this for the next couple weeks, we're going to be exploring several different genres of reading to kind of introduce and to hopefully develop a little bit of an appreciation for some of those other styles of books and you may decide or you may learn that you like to read some of those other different books. Another topic that we're going to kind of discuss, and this is where I'm going to start today, is talking about the concept of what we call the theme of a story. And I've got a way to kind of teach and explain it to you. Hopefully, it will make a little bit more sense. You've maybe heard the word theme, but maybe didn't quite know what it was. And I have a wonderful book that I'm going to read to you today. I believe maybe we've already read this, which makes it a little bit familiar to you, but I chose it because it really helps kind of explain this concept of theme. And so if you've heard it before, it's okay. Listen again, and then that'll just help you later on when we discuss it further. This is called Salt in His Shoes, Michael Jordan in Pursuit of a Dream. It's by Dolores Jordan, who is his mother, Michael Jordan, the basketball player, and with Rosalind Jordan, and that's Michael Jordan's sister. And they wrote this book about Michael Jordan and some of his childhood and the things that he dealt with along the way. This is a true story. The things that happen in this book really did happen. So we're going to use this book today to help us explore the concept of theme. Start off, there's a picture of Michael Jordan playing basketball. So he's getting ready to dunk the ball. Michael loved to play basketball. Every Saturday, he followed his older brothers, Larry and Ronnie, to the park, hoping that they would let him play. And if one of the guys who usually played with them didn't show, they always did. But there was one problem. His name was Mark, and he was the tallest boy on the court. "What's the matter, Mikey? Too short?" Mark flapped his arms in Michael's face. "Over here," shouted Larry. But when Michael threw the ball, Mark's long arms came out of nowhere and knocked the ball away. It flew into the hands of a player on Mark's team. He made the basket and the game was over. Just like that. "I'm really sorry, guys. If I were taller, that wouldn't have happened." All the way home, Michael apologized, even though no one was mad at him. His oldest brother, Ronnie, tried to cheer him up. "Look, little brother, you played good today. Don't worry, we'll win the next time." When they got home, Michael went into the kitchen where Mama was cooking dinner. He was still disappointed, and she could tell. "You guys lost again today, huh?" Michael nodded. He sat quietly for a minute and then said, "Mama, how can I grow taller?" Now, Mama knew the answer to a lot of questions, but this was a tough one. She thought for a moment as she sprinkled salt and pepper on the chicken she was making for dinner. Then she smiled, looked at Michael, and said, "Salt." "Salt?" Michael said. Michael looked at his mama. "Salt in your shoes. We'll put salt in your shoes and say a prayer every night. Before you know it, you'll be taller," she replied. "Salt in my shoes?" Michael said quietly to himself. Surely Mama was teasing. He sat staring out of the window, trying to figure out how salt was going to help him grow. He noticed the rose bushes outside in Mama's garden. They had grown high along the fence, and roses of all colors were blooming on the vines. He thought to himself, I remember when Mama first planted those bushes. Michael's face lit up. If Mama knows how to make those rose bushes grow, then maybe she's right. Maybe salt in my shoes really will help me grow. Growing more excited, Michael twirled around and started asking lots of questions. Mama, how long will it take and how tall do you think I'll get? Smiling, Mama sat down next to him and explained. In order for this to work, the most important things you have to do are to be patient and listen to what I tell you and say your prayers at night. Listening carefully, Michael shook his head. Okay, Mama, I'll be patient. But what does saying my prayers have to do with it? Everything, Michael, Mama replied as she hugged him. Now go wash up and tell your brothers and sisters to get ready for dinner. Michael dashed out of the kitchen, almost knocking over his father, who was walking in. What's he up to now? Asked Daddy. Oh, the usual, laughed Mama. Chasing a dream. Later during dinner, Mama noticed that Michael was barely eating anything. He was already daydreaming about being taller. Michael, first things first. You won't grow taller if you don't eat, especially your vegetables, Mama said. But I'm not really hungry, he said. Raising her eyebrows, Mama gave him a stern look. Slowly, Michael picked up his fork and began to eat. Minutes later, his plate was clean and he was asking for more. That evening at bedtime, Michael set his favorite game shoes on the floor next to the growth chart that hanging on the wall. Then he put on his pajamas, said his prayers, and jumped into bed. When Mama came in, Michael was fast asleep. By the look on his face, she could tell he was already playing basketball in his dreams. Standing by his bed, Mama sprinkled salt in his shoes. Then she prayed quietly over him as she did all of her children. There she is, putting the salt in his shoes. Dear God, please help Michael to be the best he can be and to give his best in all that he does. And Lord, could you please make him just a little bit taller tomorrow than he is today? That is all. Thank you. Amen. After that night, Michael wore his favorite game shoes everywhere he went, even to church. He stopped going to the park with his brothers on Saturdays. Instead, he stayed home and practiced. He wanted to grow a few more inches before he went back to the park. After 2 months of practicing and waiting patiently and praying, Michael stood next to the growth chart on his wall. Nothing. He hadn't grown an inch. He was disappointed, but he did not stop believing. I've just got to give it time, like Mama said, Michael thought to himself, and that's what he did. 2 more months of practicing went by and still nothing. Now Michael was becoming a little sad. Not only had he not grown 1 inch, but he also missed playing basketball with Larry and Ronnie. About the only thing he didn't miss was being picked on by Mark. When the next Saturday came, his brothers tried to get Michael to go with them to the park, but he wouldn't budge. Mama had begun to worry. When she saw Michael sitting alone on the steps, she said to Daddy, maybe you should go out and talk to him. So Daddy went out and sat with Michael. What's wrong, son? You haven't gone to the park with your brothers for a while now. Are you okay? Michael didn't say anything at first. Then he looked at Daddy and said, I thought I would at least be a few inches taller by now. I did everything Mama told me to do, but nothing happened. Michael, why do you want to be taller? Daddy asked. If I were taller, I'd be a great player, and I could help our team win, Michael answered. But you are a great player, son, and you already have everything it takes to be a winner right in here. Daddy tapped Michael on his chest. Being taller may help you play a little better, but not as much as practice, determination, and giving your best will. Those are the things that make you a real winner. Michael thought about what Daddy said for a minute. Then suddenly, he jumped up and took off. "Where are you going?" Daddy yelled after him. "I've got a game today and I'm late," Michael yelled back. When Michael reached the park, the game had started. He sat on the bench hoping he would get a chance to play, and he did. The game was almost over and the score was tied when John, one of the guys on Michael's team, fell and hurt himself. Here was Michael's chance. Michael joined his team in the huddle as they gathered on the sideline for a timeout. "Okay, the game is tied. All we need is 1 point. Who wants to take the shot?" Ronnie asked. He looked in Michael's direction. Feeling more confident than ever, Michael said, "I'll do it." When the whistle blew and the game began again, Mark began to pick on Michael as usual. "Still trying to play with the big boys, huh?" Mark taunted. But Michael paid him no attention. Taller or not, he had been practicing, and today he was determined to win. Larry threw the ball inbounds to Michael. Michael caught it, bounced it for a moment, and then took off running. As he approached Mark, Michael shifted to his right. Mark followed, but while he was still shifting, Michael spun to his left. He stepped behind Mark and shot. The ball arced far above his opponent's hands and fell silently through the hoop. 2 points! The game was over. Michael's team had won. It was just as Michael had dreamed. When he realized what he had done, Michael took off running and didn't stop until he had reached home. Bursting through the door, he shouted, "I did it! Daddy, I did it! I shot right over the tall guy's head and we won the game." Running in behind him, Ronnie and Larry joined the celebration. "That's right, little brother. You did it. You won the game for us." Michael remembered the look that Ronnie gave him during the last time out of the game and said, "No, we won the game. But I was the star." They all laughed. After that day, Mama stopped putting salt in Michael's shoes. But Michael did not stop being patient and working hard and praying. So that must be what made Michael grow to be a 6 foot, 6 inch tall basketball superstar. And as we know, he went on to play for the Chicago Bulls and had a really successful career. And so, salt in his shoes. Now let's think about the theme. We'll talk about that for just a minute. Theme has to do with the overall message in a book. And I want to stop for a minute and I want to think about what kinds of lessons or messages we get from reading this book. One of them is never giving up. Okay, they mentioned the concept of patience and, him having to wait for those things to happen to him. So we're just going to kind of make a list of some of the topics that Michael and his family dealt with as this book was explained. So never giving up, patience. He was determined. That means that, that was his dream and he did not want to let that dream go. He was determined to make it happen. And so I'm going to write, the concept of determination and hard work. You can't achieve your goals and dreams if you don't work hard. It just doesn't come that, easy for a lot of people anyway. So here are some different ideas and messages in this book. Never giving up, patience, determination, and hard work. Now we're not done. We're going to choose one of these and make a theme out of it. Sometimes there's more than one theme in a book, and sometimes you can combine these topics to create a theme. So I'm going to start off and put a starting lead-off sentence. The author believes that. When we write a theme, That's a good way to start. The author believes that. Okay, now we're going to pick one or two of our topics that we mentioned above. So I'm going to pick determination and hard work. Then we can kind of combine those. The author believes that hard work and determination. And remember, the author was Michael's mother. So what did she believe? Hard work and determination can help you what? Help you achieve a goal. Okay, again, thinking back to his own mother, who was the author of this book. Here's my sentence. The author believes that hard work and determination help you achieve a goal. Now, to make it a true theme, we're going to take our marker and we're going to cross out the part that says the author believes that. Okay, the part that's left, that's my theme. Hard work and determination help you to achieve a goal. And if I was writing that, I would make that a capital letter at the beginning, and then we've got our period at the end of our sentence. So that's what theme is. It's an underlying message. This theme that I wrote wasn't stated in our book. We had to come up with it on our own and think about what the lesson was that the author wanted us to learn. Hopefully that taught you a little bit more about what theme means, what it is, and how to write a good one.